The day Dr. Alan Carter first stepped onto the polished floors of the Central Medical Authority, he felt very small. The walls curved up into a dome that seemed to touch the stars. Aliens of all shapes and sizes moved past him. Some had tentacles, others floated in the air. A few looked almost human except for their blue or green skin. Alan clutched his datapad tightly. After years of being the smartest person in every room on Earth, he now felt like a child on the first day of school. Earth had only joined the Galactic Empire 3 months ago. Most humans were still getting used to the idea that aliens were real. Now Alan was about to start work as the first human doctor in the Empire's most advanced medical center. "You must be the human," said a voice behind him. Alan turned to see a tall creature with 6 arms and skin that shifted colors like an octopus. The alien wore a white coat covered in strange symbols. "Dr. Zixtar," Alan said, trying to pronounce the name correctly. "Yes, I'm Dr. Alan Carter from Earth." Zixtar's skin turned a slightly darker shade of blue. "Follow me. Your orientation begins now." As they walked through the massive building, Alan tried not to stare at the medical technology around him. Patients floated in healing tanks. Doctors used tools that looked like glowing wands to heal wounds instantly. One machine seemed to rebuild an alien's broken leg bone in seconds. "Earth medicine is primitive," Zixtar said, not unkindly. "I have been healing patients for 300 years. I understand you humans rarely live past 100. "That's right," Alan said. "Our medicine still has a long way to go." "Indeed. You will be assigned to Research Division 12. It is not important work, but it will give you time to learn our ways." Alan wanted to argue that he could handle more important work, but he knew better. He needed to prove himself first. "Thank you for the opportunity," he said instead. Division 12 turned out to be a small lab in the basement level. Alan would be studying minor skin conditions in non-critical patients. It was work that a medical student would do on Earth, not a doctor with 15 years of experience. On his lunch break, Alan sat alone in the cafeteria. The food was strange, purple cubes that tasted like chicken and blue liquid that reminded him of apple juice. As he ate, he watched the alien doctors talk among themselves. None of them came to sit with him. "First days are always hard," said a human voice. A woman in a white coat sat down across from him. Her name tag read, "Dr. Kim." "Olivia Kim," she said, offering her hand. "I've been here 2 weeks. I'm the second human doctor they hired." Alan shook her hand, grateful to see another human face. "They've got you in Division 12, don't they?" She asked. "How did you know?" "That's where they put all of us at first. Don't worry. It won't be forever." Over the next few weeks, Alan learned the Empire's medical systems. He discovered that the aliens had cures for cancer, heart disease, and most of the illnesses that still killed humans on Earth. But they also had their own diseases that human doctors had never seen before. One night, after everyone else had left, Alan stayed late in the lab. He was studying the files of different alien species, trying to understand their biology better. That's when he noticed something strange. In almost every alien species, there were viruses and bacteria that looked similar to those on Earth. But these alien versions caused much more serious diseases. "Interesting, isn't it?" said Zixtar, suddenly appearing behind him. Alan jumped. "I didn't know anyone else was here." "I often work late," Zixtar said. "What have you discovered?" "These diseases," Alan pointed to the screen. "They look like ones we have on Earth, but ours are much milder." "Yes, your planet is unusual. It has an extraordinary number of pathogens. Most advanced worlds eliminate disease entirely as they evolve. Earth is messy." "Is that why you put me in Division 12? Because you think humans are messy?" Zixtar's skin shifted to a deep purple. "I put you there because you have much to learn. But I'm watching your progress carefully, Dr. Carter." 200 light-years away, Lisa Nichols faced her own challenges. As the only human medical officer on the Imperial cruiser Stellar Horizon, she dealt with constant skepticism from the alien crew. Lisa had been a combat medic in the army before Earth joined the Empire. She had treated gunshot wounds under enemy fire and performed emergency surgery with limited supplies. But the alien officers treated her like she might break at any moment. Humans are so fragile, Captain Vrex often said. The large, insect-like alien had fought in 3 interstellar conflicts. Your bones break easily. Your skin tears. You have no natural armor. We make up for it in other ways, Lisa always replied. Today she was treating a crew member from Proxima Centauri, who had a fever. The fish-like alien lay on an examination table, his scales turning dull. "What's wrong with him?" asked Dr. Krell, the senior medical officer. He was a tall, thin alien with 4 eyes and gray skin. Lisa ran a scanner over the patient. "It looks like a simple infection. On Earth, we'd call it something like the flu." Dr. Krell made a noise that might have been a laugh. "This is why humans are not ready for space. That is a Proxima fever. It kills 50% of those infected." "Maybe for other species," Lisa said. "But I've treated something very similar on Earth. We have a whole planet of diseases like this." "Impossible," Dr. Krell said. "Your species would have died out long ago." Lisa administered the standard treatment, but she also added a medication she had brought from Earth. The next day, the patient's fever was gone. His scales were bright and shiny again. "What did you do?" Dr. Krell demanded. "I treated him the human way," Lisa said. "Sometimes the old methods work best." For the first time, Dr. Krell looked at her with something close to respect. Back on Earth, news of the first human doctors in space spread quickly. People were proud but also nervous. What if humans couldn't measure up to the advanced alien species? What if the Empire decided Earth wasn't worth the trouble? No one could have guessed that Earth's greatest weakness would soon become its greatest strength. The very thing that made humans seem primitive, their messy planet full of diseases, was about to save the Empire from disaster, because somewhere, on a busy trade station at the edge of the Empire, a deadly new disease was about to emerge, and only humans would have the immunity to stop it. Nexus Station hung in space like a giant metal flower. 5 massive arms extended from a central hub, each arm bustling with life from across the galaxy. Over 10 million beings lived on the station. Countless more passed through its docks each day. Ships of all sizes arrived and departed constantly, carrying goods and passengers to hundreds of worlds. In the lower levels of Arm 3, a dock worker named Greel felt sick. Greel belonged to the Voltan species, green-skinned humanoids, known for their strength. He had been loading cargo all day. At first he thought he was just tired, but now his head hurt badly and his skin felt hot. "You look terrible," his supervisor said. "Go to the medical bay." Greel nodded and made his way through the crowded corridors. By the time he reached the medical bay, his vision was blurry. The doctor scanned him and frowned. "Just a common fever," the doctor said. "Rest for 2 days." Greel went back to his small room and fell asleep. He never woke up. When security forces broke down his door 3 days later, they found his body covered in red spots. The spots had spread to his roommate too, who was barely alive. Within a week, hundreds of people on Nexus Station showed the same symptoms. The medical bay was full. Doctors were confused. They had never seen this disease before. "We need to alert the Empire," the station's chief doctor said. By then, it was already too late. Visitors to the station had boarded ships and traveled to their homeworlds. The disease went with them. At the Central Medical Authority, Dr. Alan Carter was finally getting respect from his alien colleagues. 3 months of hard work had paid off. He had moved up from Division 12 to Division 8, which studied respiratory illnesses. It wasn't the most important work, but it was better than studying skin rashes. Then came the emergency alert. All doctors were called to a meeting in the main hall. Alan arrived to find thousands of medical professionals gathered. The mood was tense. High Administrator Lon, a tall blue-skinned alien who ran the entire authority, stood on a floating platform. "We face a crisis," Lon announced. "A new disease has emerged on Nexus Station. It has spread to 12 major worlds. Initial reports show a 70% death rate. Images appeared on giant screens around the hall. They showed patients covered in red spots, bleeding from their eyes and mouth. Alan felt sick looking at them. The disease affects all known species, Lon continued. We have named it Crimson Death. Containment protocols are now in effect across the Empire. All non-essential travel is banned. After the meeting, Alan returned to his lab. His colleagues looked worried. This is bad, one alien doctor whispered. The Empire hasn't seen a pandemic this severe in 800 years. Over the next few days, the situation grew worse. The death count rose into the millions. Some species were hit harder than others. The Voltar species, like Greel, had a 98% death rate. Other species showed slightly more resistance, but all were dying in large numbers. Then Alan noticed something strange in the data. There were no reports of humans dying from Crimson Death. Not a single case. He checked again. Humans on Earth? On colonies, on space stations. None were getting sick. They could be exposed to infected aliens and remain healthy. Alan called Dr. Olivia Kim. Have you seen this? He asked, showing her the data. Yes, she said. At first I thought it was a reporting error, but now I'm sure. We're immune. But why? I don't know. But we need to tell someone. They took their findings to Dr. Zixtar, who immediately called a meeting with High Administrator Lon. This is unexpected, Lon said, examining their data. Humans are the least advanced species in the Empire. Your medicine is primitive. How could you have immunity to a disease we cannot cure? We don't know yet, Alan admitted. But it's true. We should start studying human biology for clues. Across the Empire, the death toll continued to rise. Planets were quarantined. Economies collapsed. Fear spread faster than the disease itself. Oni. The starship Stellar Horizon, Lisa Nichols faced a terrible situation. Half the crew was sick, including most of the medical staff. Dr. Krell had died 3 days ago. The captain was infected but still on duty. Lisa worked without sleep, trying to save as many crew members as she could. She noticed that she never felt sick, despite constant exposure to infected patients. One day, Captain Vrex called her to the bridge. The insect-like alien looked weak, red spots visible under his exoskeleton. Nichols, he said, his voice raspy. Central Command has informed us that humans appear to be immune to this plague. That would explain why I'm still healthy, Lisa said. They want blood and tissue samples from all humans. They're looking for a cure. Lisa nodded. I'll provide whatever they need. There's more, the captain said. Some in the Empire are suspicious. They think humans may have created this disease. They think it's too convenient that only humans are immune. That's ridiculous, Lisa said. We would never do something like that. I believe you, Captain Vrex said. But fear makes people irrational. Be careful. Back on Earth, government officials received disturbing news. Some alien extremist groups had attacked human colonies. They blamed humans for the plague. We need to help find a cure, said John Winters, Earth's representative to the Empire. It's the only way to prove our innocence. The Imperial Council called an emergency meeting. Alan Carter was asked to present his findings about human immunity. He stood before the Council, a group of the most powerful beings in the galaxy. Our research shows that humans carry antibodies that neutralize the Crimson Death, Alan explained. We believe these antibodies developed because Earth has many similar pathogens. Our bodies have been fighting such diseases for thousands of years. Are you saying this disease came from Earth? One council member asked angrily. No, Alan said firmly. The disease is new, but our immune systems recognize something about it. We think we can develop a treatment using human blood plasma. We need volunteers. How many humans would need to donate blood? Another council member asked. Thousands at least, Alan said. Maybe millions to treat the entire Empire. The room fell silent. The Empire was home to trillions of beings across thousands of worlds. The scale of the problem was enormous. Without treatment, the death toll could reach billions, Alan added. The head of the council, an ancient being with glowing eyes, spoke slowly. Then we have no choice. We must ask Earth for help. And so, as the Crimson Death continued to spread, across the stars humanity prepared for its greatest challenge. Their blood might be the only thing that could save the Empire. Alan stood in the biggest laboratory he had ever seen. The room was 5 times larger than a football field. Hundreds of scientists from different species worked at strange machines. Glowing screens showed the structure of the Crimson Death virus. In the center of the lab, a large container held samples of human blood. "We found something very interesting," Dr. Zixtar said, leading Alan to a quiet corner. The 6-armed alien pulled up an image on a screen. "Look at this." Alan studied the image. It showed 2 viruses side by side. They looked very similar. "The one on the left is Crimson Death," Zixtar explained. "The one on the right is a common Earth virus that humans call the common cold. They share a similar structure." "But the common cold doesn't kill humans," Alan said. "It just makes us sneeze for a few days." "Exactly. Humans have lived with this virus for thousands of years. Your bodies know how to fight it. But when alien biology meets this virus, it becomes deadly." Alan felt a chill. "Are you saying humans brought this disease to the Empire?" "Not on purpose," Zixtar said quickly. "Humans naturally carry many viruses that don't harm you. But when those viruses meet alien biology, they can change and become dangerous. So the Crimson Death is our fault," Alan whispered. "It's no one's fault," Zixtar insisted. "It's simply nature. But not everyone will see it that way." Alan soon learned how right Zixtar was. That afternoon, he was called to a meeting with the High Security Council. These were the leaders who protected the Empire from threats. They were not doctors or scientists. They were soldiers and spies. "Dr. Carter," began Commander Drez, a tall warrior with red skin and sharp teeth. "Our intelligence suggests that this plague began shortly after humans joined the Empire, and now we learn that the disease comes from Earth. What do you say to that?" "It was an accident," Alan said. "Humans didn't know we carried viruses that could harm aliens. We've lived with these viruses for our entire history." "A convenient excuse," said another council member. "Perhaps humans engineered this disease as a weapon. Perhaps you wanted to weaken the Empire before attacking." "That's ridiculous," Alan said, trying to stay calm. "Earth is new to space travel. We couldn't possibly challenge the Empire. And why would we kill billions of innocent beings?" "Fear makes people do terrible things," Commander Drez said. "And humans have a long history of warfare." "We're here to help," Alan insisted. "Human blood can be used to create a cure. We're willing to donate as much as needed." The council members looked at each other. Finally, Commander Drez spoke again. "We will accept your help, Dr. Carter. But know that humans are now under close watch. Any suspicious activity will be met with force." On the ship's stellar horizon, Lisa Nichols faced similar suspicion. Many crew members now avoided her in the hallways. Some refused to eat in the same room as her. Only Captain Vrex still trusted her completely. "They're afraid," the captain told her. "They've watched friends die while you remain healthy. Fear turns to anger easily." "I understand," Lisa said. "But I'm doing everything I can to help them." Lisa had volunteered for a new treatment program. Doctors took samples of her blood every day. They used these samples to create a medicine that might help infected aliens. The first tests showed promise, but they needed more human blood to treat everyone. Meanwhile, on Earth, humans were divided about how to respond to the crisis. Most wanted to help the Empire and donate blood, but some were afraid. "What if the aliens blame us for the plague and attack Earth?" many people asked. "What if they use our blood for other purposes?" John Winters, Earth's representative to the Empire, called for unity. "This is our chance to show the galaxy what humans are made of," he said in a worldwide broadcast. "Yes, we accidentally brought this disease to the stars, but we can also bring the cure. I'm asking every healthy adult to donate blood. Together, we can save billions of lives." Millions of people lined up at donation centers across Earth. Human colonies on Mars and the Moon also joined the effort. Ships carrying containers of human blood left Earth every hour. heading to Imperial medical stations. But not everyone supported these efforts. A small group of aliens called the Purity League believed that using human blood was wrong. They attacked several blood shipments and destroyed a treatment center on the planet Keltor. The Empire must not be contaminated with human biology, their leader announced. Better to die pure than live with human blood in our veins. Despite these challenges, the treatment program moved forward. Alan worked with Dr. Zixtar to improve the medicine. They found a way to use smaller amounts of human blood to treat more patients. They also discovered that once treated, aliens developed their own immunity to crimson death. Your blood is teaching their bodies how to fight the disease, Zixtar explained. It's remarkable. The first large-scale treatments began on the most affected worlds. Billions of doses were shipped across the Empire. Slowly, the death rate began to drop. On the stellar horizon, Lisa's blood had saved Captain Vrex and many crew members. One day, as she worked in the medical bay, a group of alien crew members approached her. Lisa tensed, expecting more hostility. Instead, the lead alien, a tall being with silver skin, bowed deeply. "We owe you our lives," he said. "We were wrong to fear humans. You have given your blood to save us. There is no greater gift." Lisa felt tears in her eyes. "It's what anyone would do," she said. "No," the alien replied. "Many species would have let us die, especially after how we treated you. Humans are strange, but you have good hearts." The news from across the Empire showed similar changes in attitude. As more aliens recovered thanks to human blood, old fears began to fade. Humans were still seen as unusual and primitive in many ways, but they had earned new respect. In the Imperial capital, the council called Alan to another meeting. This time, the mood was different. "Dr. Carter," said the head of the council, "the treatment is working. The death rate has fallen by 60%. You have done the Empire a great service." "It wasn't just me," Alan said. "Millions of humans donated blood. Dr. Zixtar and his team developed the treatment. We all worked together." "Indeed," the council head agreed. "And perhaps that is the lesson here. Different species working together can overcome even the greatest challenges." But as Alan left the meeting, he couldn't help wondering what would happen next. Humans had saved many lives, yes, but they had also brought a deadly plague to the stars. How would the Empire view humans once the crisis was over? Would they be welcomed as equals or forever seen as dangerous? The answer, he suspected, would shape the future of humanity among the stars. The massive spaceship called the Celestial Crucible looked like a silver star. Inside, thousands of doctors and scientists worked day and night. The ship contained the Empire's most advanced medical labs. It traveled from planet to planet, bringing the human blood treatment to the sickest worlds. Alan Carter had been living on the Crucible for 3 weeks. He barely slept. There was too much work to do. Billions of aliens were still sick with crimson death. The treatment worked, but they needed more of it, much more. "Dr. Carter, we have a problem," said Dr. Zixtar one morning. "Earth cannot provide enough blood. Even with millions of human donors, it's not enough to save everyone." Alan rubbed his tired eyes. There must be a way to make more treatment with less blood. Just then, a message arrived from Earth. A human scientist named Perry Rodriguez had an idea. He was an expert in making artificial blood for hospitals. Maybe he could create a machine to copy the important parts of human blood, the parts that fought crimson death. "Bring him here," Alan said immediately. 2 days later, Perry arrived on the Crucible. He was an older man with gray hair and glasses. He looked amazed at the alien technology around him. "Dr. Carter," he said, shaking Alan's hand, "I've been studying your treatment. I think I can help." Perry explained his idea. Instead of using whole blood from human donors, they could take just the antibodies, the tiny parts of blood that fight disease. Then they could copy these antibodies using special machines. This would make a lot more treatment from a smaller amount of blood. "It's like having a recipe," Perry explained. "Once you know the recipe, you can make as much as you want." Dr. Zixtar and the alien scientists were skeptical. This was not how their medicine worked, but they were desperate, so they agreed to Try. For the next week, Perry, Alan, and the alien scientists worked together to build a new machine. They combined human medical knowledge with alien technology. Perry's experience with Earth's blood production methods proved valuable. The aliens had more advanced technology, but they didn't understand human biology as well as Perry did. Finally, they were ready to test the new process. They took a small sample of human blood and put it in the machine. Hours later, they had produced enough treatment for 1,000 patients from just one blood sample. "It works," Perry shouted. The aliens cheered in their own languages. News of the breakthrough spread quickly across the Empire. Now they could make enough treatment for everyone. The celestial crucible began producing millions of doses every day. Smaller versions of Perry's machine were built on other medical ships. The treatment reached more and more worlds. On the stellar horizon, Lisa Nichols received the new treatment supplies. She no longer needed to donate her own blood every day. The ship's crew was mostly recovered now, and they had resumed their mission patrolling the border of the Empire. One day, Captain Vrex called Lisa to a private meeting. The insect-like alien looked troubled. "Officer Nichols," he said, "our sensors have detected something strange. A small ship has been following us for 3 days. When we try to contact it, it disappears." "Pirates?" Lisa asked. "Space pirates sometimes attacked ships in this region." "I don't think so. The ship has Imperial military markings, but it's not responding to our codes." "What do you want me to do?" "Nothing for now. But be careful. I fear there are still those who blame humans for the plague. They may be watching you." Lisa felt a chill. She had thought the danger was passing. The treatment was working. Many aliens now viewed humans as heroes, but some, it seemed, still saw them as enemies. Back on the celestial crucible, Alan was helping distribute the treatment to a planet called Nexor. The people of Nexor were blue-skinned with 4 arms. They had been hit hard by Crimson Death. Almost half their population was sick. As Alan supervised the delivery of treatment supplies, a group of Nexorians approached him. They wore the symbols of the Purity League, the group that opposed using human blood. "You contaminate our people with your alien biology," their leader said angrily. "This is against the natural order. The treatment is saving lives," Alan said calmly. "That's all that matters." "Some things are worse than death," the leader replied. "Our species will be forever changed by your blood." Before Alan could respond, Imperial security forces arrived and escorted the protesters away. But their words bothered him. Was there some truth to what they said? Would the treatment change alien biology in unexpected ways? He took his concerns to Dr. Zix-Tar. "It's possible," the alien doctor admitted. "Human antibodies might have other effects we haven't discovered yet. But what choice do we have? Without the treatment, trillions will die." Alan knew Zix-Tar was right. They had to continue. But he made sure the Empire started a long-term study to watch for any unexpected effects of the treatment. Meanwhile, scientists on Earth made another discovery. By studying Crimson Death more closely, they found something odd. The virus seemed to have been engineered, changed on purpose. It wasn't a natural disease. Someone created this plague, the head scientist told John Winters, Earth's representative. It was designed to affect as many species as possible. "But who would do such a thing?" John asked. "And why?" "We don't know. But whoever did it, didn't expect humans to be immune. That wasn't part of their plan." John immediately sent this information to the Imperial Council. The news shocked the Empire's leaders. If the plague was engineered, that meant it was a weapon. Someone had attacked the Empire. Special investigators were sent to Nexus Station where the disease had first appeared. They searched for clues about who might have released the virus. Their investigation led them to a disturbing conclusion. The plague might have been created by a species from outside the Empire, a species no one had met before. The Empire had enemies beyond its borders. Unknown aliens who might have been watching them for years. And now these mysterious enemies knew about humans too. On Earth, people began to worry about what this meant. Humans had just joined the galactic community. Now they might be pulled into an interstellar conflict they knew nothing about. "We need to prepare," John Winters told Earth's leaders. "The Empire will remember that humans helped stop this plague. They'll expect us to help if there's another attack." As treatment distribution continued across the Empire, a new sense of purpose united humans and aliens. They had faced a terrible crisis together. They had overcome ancient fears and prejudices, and now they might face a common enemy. The plague was ending, but a new chapter in galactic history was just beginning. 6 months had passed since the first case of Crimson Death. The imperial calendar marked it as the year of the Great Plague. On thousands of worlds, people were slowly returning to normal life. Markets reopened. Ships once again traveled between the stars. Children played in parks that had been empty for months, but things would never be truly the same again. The plague had killed 30 billion beings. Some small alien species were completely gone. Others had lost so many that their cultures might not survive. Empty cities stood as monuments to the dead. In the imperial capital, a grand ceremony was planned. The emperor would speak to the empire for the first time since the plague began. Representatives from all worlds were invited, including a special delegation from Earth. Alan Carter stood in the enormous imperial hall, feeling small among the thousands of aliens. The hall was bigger than any building on Earth. Its ceiling seemed to touch the sky. Alien art covered the walls, telling stories of the Empire's 1,000-year history. Alan wore a new uniform. He was no longer just a human doctor working in the Empire. Now he was the deputy director of the Imperial Medical Authority. No human had ever held such an important position before. Dr. Zixtar stood beside him. The six-armed alien's skin shifted between blue and purple colors. "Nervous?" Zixtar asked. "A little," Alan admitted. "I never expected to be here." "You earned this honor," Zixtar said. "Without humans, half the Empire would be dead." On the other side of the hall, Lisa Nichols stood with Captain Vrex. Lisa now wore the uniform of a chief medical officer. After the plague, she had been given her own medical ship. She would lead missions to help worlds still suffering from the aftermath of Crimson Death. "You seem uncomfortable with all this attention," Captain Vrex observed. Lisa nodded. "On Earth, I was just a normal doctor. Now aliens treat me like I'm special." "Because you are," Vrex said. "You gave your blood to save my crew when others feared you. That makes you special to me." A soft chime sounded through the hall. Everyone grew quiet. A door opened at the far end, and the Emperor entered. The Emperor of the Galactic Empire was not what humans had expected. In movies on Earth, aliens often looked strange or scary, but the Emperor looked almost human, except for his golden skin and eyes with star-shaped pupils. He was tall and walked with grace. His robe seemed to be made of living light that shifted colors with each step. The Emperor stood on a floating platform that rose into the air so everyone could see him. "People of the Empire," he began, his voice carried to all by invisible technology. "We have faced our greatest challenge in 1,000 years. The Crimson Death took many from us. We will honor their memory by building a stronger empire." The Emperor spoke about the losses, the heroism of doctors and aid workers, and the need to rebuild. Then he turned to the subject of humans. "When Earth joined our empire, many doubted the wisdom of accepting such a young species. Humans had barely learned to travel between stars. Their technology was primitive by our standards. Their history was filled with conflict." Alan felt many alien eyes turned toward him and the other humans. "But in our darkest hour, it was humans who saved us," the Emperor continued. "Their unusual biology, shaped by their harsh world, gave them immunity to the plague. They shared their blood freely to save beings they had just met. They showed courage and compassion worthy of the highest imperial traditions." The Emperor gestured, and a group of officials brought forward a large crystal tablet. On it was a new imperial law. "Today, I grant Earth a permanent seat on the High Council," the Emperor announced. "Normally, this honor is given only to species with at least 1,000 years of spacefaring history, but humans have proven their worth more quickly than any species before them." The hall erupted in cheers and the strange sounds aliens made to show approval. Some remained silent, but most seemed to support the Emperor's decision. John Winters, Earth's representative, stepped forward to accept this honor. He bowed deeply to the Emperor. "Earth is grateful for this recognition," John said. "We pledge to use this position wisely for the good of all species." After the ceremony, Alan found himself approached by many alien officials who wanted to work with him. The Imperial Medical Authority was being reorganized. A new division would study diseases that could jump between species. Alan would lead this work. "We must be ready if another plague comes," Alan told the officials. "And we must learn more about who created Crimson Death and why." The investigation into the plague's origins had made progress. Evidence pointed to an unknown civilization beyond the Empire's borders, in a region of space humans called the Buta's Void. The Empire had always believed this region was empty. Now they knew someone was hiding there. Lisa's new medical ship would be part of an expedition to the edge of the void. They would not enter it yet. That would require more preparation. But they would study it from a safe distance, looking for signs of alien activity. "Are you scared?" Alan asked Lisa when they met at the reception after the ceremony. "A little," she admitted. "But also excited. Humans have always dreamed of exploring space and meeting new life forms, even if those life forms might be hostile. Especially then," Lisa said. "We need to understand them. Maybe we can prevent another plague." As the celebration continued, Alan stepped away to a quiet balcony. He looked up at the alien stars. So much had changed in just 1 year. Humans had gone from being newcomers in the galaxy to key members of the Empire. Their blood had saved trillions. Their scientists now worked alongside the best alien minds, and all because of a disease that should have been deadly, but wasn't. Dr. Zixtar joined him on the balcony. "What are you thinking, Alan?" the alien asked. "I'm wondering if it was all just luck," Alan said. "Humans happen to be immune to a plague that nearly destroyed the Empire. It seems too convenient." Zixtar's skin shifted to a deep purple, showing serious thought. "Perhaps it was not luck," the alien said quietly. "The universe has patterns we do not yet understand. Perhaps humans were meant to join the Empire when you did. Perhaps you were meant to save us." Alan wasn't sure he believed that. But as he looked at the celebration, he felt proud of what humans had accomplished. They had turned a tragedy into a chance to help others. They had earned their place among the stars. Whatever dangers waited in the Buta's Void, humans and aliens would face them together. The plague had nearly destroyed the Empire, but it had also made it stronger. More united, ready for whatever came next, and humans would be at the center of that future, their strange biology and adaptable minds helping to protect the galaxy they now called home.